It's a people-centered leadership. That's the approach we're taking. And we just started this. Folks, welcome to our broadcast. We are here in Perth, Maikoni, right? That's right. Perth, TH. Maikoni here. Beautiful community, lovely people. The APNU coalition team here in Perth this morning, their number of staff talking to residents, but putting people first. It's a people-centered leadership. That's the approach we're taking. And we just started this beautiful establishment here with some refreshment. The goal again, where are we, Ben Troy, in Perth Maikoni? Well, we're in Perth Maikoni, the second cross street, and we are here at a familiar business spot that once you're in Perth Village, you not only have your beverages and what's not, but you can have plantain chicken so. Excellent. And so, guys, welcome to our broadcast. I was with you guys in the various streets here, talked with the community, the members of the community here. Tell us a little bit about, first, introduce the team for us. And then I know our sister is going to tell us a little bit about what we heard on the ground this morning as we were moving through Perth. Let me go talk about it. Right. So, my immediate left is one Selma Seaman. She is one of our regional coordinators here in Maikoni. She is also an accountant by profession, and she understands the work on the ground. She would have served in the ministry. She understands the assignment. The assignment. That's right. Yes, and she would have worked in the Ministry of Agriculture. She understands what it is to be around farmers and understand what it takes to meet their needs. To her left is Mr. Trevon Chichester. He is an educator and also one of our local regional coordinators here in Maikoni also. And he also understands the assignment on the ground. Apart from that, Trevon is someone who is very versed in technology and PR work within the party. And he's one of our popular faces on the APNU campaign trail. So those who know him would see his face. He's also one of both of them are candidates in the upcoming election. And behind me are several. We got a live audience. We got an entire live audience. We got a live audience. Several residents, beautiful residents, but wonderful people. I believe by far Port has some of the best people in Maikoni. Yes. Is that so? Port has some of the best people in Maikoni? Yes. Some of the they will welcome you. They will tell you as it is. They will take a few shots now and again. Right. They will have their own parliament here and determine whether we're doing good or bad. And so that is the specialty that Port has. But we have a number of comrades here also, and they have been with us and will continue to go with us as we move through the community. We have some of our new candidates. They're also here with us this morning. And so I would just want to recognize one of our new candidates that will be a face out there in region number 5, Mr. John White. And he is an intelligence specialist. So we have a multiplicity of persons with different specialities. Next here is Miss Sherry Grant White, a former education officer in region number 5. In region number 3, she would have worked. She would have worked in region number 6, those that I can remember. And she has been a teacher for so many years that I can remember when I was at primary school. She taught me at primary school. So you understand what I'm talking about. Excellent. She has a number of years in the teaching profession as an educator. We have the NDC chairman, Mr. Kishore, is behind me somewhere also. We have the NDC vice chairperson is also behind me, Ms. May Board. We have Ms. Walil, another councillor on the NDC, and a number of other comrades that are here. No doubt. A team fired up and ready for this work. So, we also have Ms. Lachman Aziz, who would have traveled all the way from the west coast of the east to be here because she's also one of our new faces, not new faces, but new candidates that will be on our list. Excellent. It is fantastic. So tell us a little bit about what you would have heard from the residents that were going to the community this morning, some of the concerns that were raised by the residents.
Okay, some of the concerns that were raised by the residents are, one, they're going to deal with rice farming, the lack of drainage, poor drainage and irrigation. Most farmers are complaining that they would have lost the crop because of the drainage situation. Also, the untimely receipt of fertilizers. Most times they receive it for fertilizer past the time that they were supposed to receive it. The other issues they're facing is the quality of seed paddy they received, poor quality with regards to poor yield. We also have the challenges with the rice millers. It takes a very long time for them to actually receive payment. Some of them cannot even go back into the crop due to non-payment. We can also look at poultry farmers on the ground this morning. Some of them were complaining about the lack of the cost of feed, right? The cost of feed. Some of them were not really compensated or reimbursed from the challenge that they encountered last year with the IPH, where a number of farmers lost chickens. Today, they haven't received any substantial or any help from the government, so they're actually out of it. Other challenges we heard from people in Port Village are speaking about the lack of employment.
That's right.
The youths are not properly engaged in Maikoni. There are also issues with school buses. A lot of parents complain that there is a bus that passes Port, but it only picks up children from Roden, Mortis, and it leaves the Port children out. We know about a comprehensive school bus system where, under the APNU administration, every child used to be picked up. This situation where a bus is being passing through a village and refusing to pick up school children, the residents are complaining about it, and they need that to be changed. A bus passing through a village, but blunt with space that you can put other children inside, but refuse because of some instruction to pick up children from Port Village. So that's like the children have to walk out, sometimes even in the rain. Other issues were raised were the quality of the streets that are being constructed. We have streets that were constructed recently, and they're in a deplorable state. We have back street already.
Wow.
They're not having value for money. The construction of the road, the time it takes, and the long inconvenience for people that live here. The road is commenced construction, and today the road is still in work in progress. They haven't completed construction of the road. The other thing that is really, really touching into the residents that ampers and water tanks are passing Port Village and going to.
Village has a what issue?
That's what it's too, and it's going to predominantly PPP area for residents there. What about the residents in Port? Are we not Guyanese? Where is the one Guyana?
Yeah. So I have no doubt that having raised these issues, and a couple of days, I give them a big, you'll hear your CPVB in this area saying, we know the concern that we bring the tanks and so on, because they have no doubt.
We also, the residents are complaining that a few days ago, before the president went into Morocco, yes, a drone load of ampers and tanks were sent into Morocco. What about the residents of Port Village? What about the residents of Port Village? The farmers are complaining because of the drainage and irrigation to it, where they have their cows and call it hole. That's the name that we call it area hole. The place is underwater, cattle are dying, and it's been alleged that the government is about to take the land from them and give it to some friends, family, or friends, but we don't know. That's the allegation that's going around, and farmers are concerned where they're going to put the cattle, because these farmers have the cattle in there for a number of years. What is really going on? Where is the one guy? What is really going on for our country? And those are some of the concerns that residents will have raised this morning. And so we're here on ground. We're ground there with our people. We're listening, and those are some of the concerns basically.
I have no doubt that the APNU coalition will put first. I have no doubt about that. Thanks for raising those concerns on behalf of the residents here in the community. We're on the heels of the APNU coalition launch last evening, and I know the residents from Perth also have been talking about. Guys, if you were there, and no doubt you heard what transpired on the Square Revolution. Talk to us about this significant event in this APNU coalition campaign.
No, last night was electric. I'm not gonna lie.
I don't want to say it's happened.
The excitement of the people that spread the revolution. The revolution began for the new government. The revolution of putting people first, because we've had an administration that really cares about no one but themselves. When they talk about one Guyana, they mean the PPP Guyana. That's what they mean. That's the one that they're talking about. Not the 6 races, or as Leo mentioned last, like some people are saying 7 races, But the last night was so important because people are recalling what transpired before 2020, where we had, as Selma was talking about the school buses just now. Yes. So people are remembering that prior to 2020, we had very good, strong social programs that ensured the vulnerable were taken care of. And I've always said it, you can tell the quality of a society by how it treats the most vulnerable within it. How we treat our senior citizens, how we treat our children, how we treat the disabled. And I know that Bench Roy MP wants to talk a lot more about those there right now, as we were talking earlier.
No, and what you're saying is true, because I was right here in Perth. We spoke with a senior citizen. We spoke with a young man, well, not a young man, middle age, who is currently suffering from some illnesses and is at a disadvantage with NIS and some other challenges. But when you look at it as in a whole, the PPP has made a mess of what we call social services in Guyana. It moved from when we would give to people based on their needs. It moved from when we will look at specific criteria that would stand out and say that this is what we must do. We would work with policies and programs. And the PPP victimize people. They look down upon them. But I want to jump forward. We are just a few days away from a general and regional election. And I know that people would have felt the brunt of the PPP for the past 4 years, 11 months. And because we are now at the verge of having what we will term the return of the good life, a people-centered development, Aubrey Norton, Jurita Finance, and the coalition has plans in place to move Guyanese out of poverty. We have plans in place to move our senior citizens from the pittance that they basis. We know that they're receiving just about $41,000. Shirley and I sat in the National Assembly, and we heard for 5 consecutive budgets under the People's Progressive Party, just $3,000 and $4,000. We are planning that $41,000 will move to $100,000 for our pensioners. We heard them talking about this whole cash grant for school children and trying to brainwash our residents and citizens that, look, they returned something that the coalition took away. We know that the coalition could not, or it was not sustainable, rather, to be giving $60,000 and $50,000 to a child in 2015 when we had no oil resources. But it is now.
Yeah.
And because we know that it is sustainable now, we will not give them $50,000 when we know we can do better. We will give them $120,000 a year, and that's what we said last weekend. We said that.
That's right.
We said that on the campaign trail. We have also said that our pensioners, they will receive that $100,000, and that's per month. And that does not affect us from moving to our public servants, whereby we have them at heart. Look, the PPP should not fool Guyanese and public servants that they care about them. We have proven over the 5 years that we are caring government, and we are concerned about public servants because we put into their pockets over the 5 years, and you will know this, Trevor, 77%.
77%.
We have already said, and the campaign has just been launched, that we will give them 35% at just the beginning of our our tenure in government. Just the startup, we're giving you 35%. Imagine what it will be by the end of Norton's 5 years.
Public servants first.
Definitely.
Putting the people first.
Yes.
We have also said that we will move the meager $120,000 to a base of $200,000. Apart from that, we care so much about our people. Our human resource is important, that we are going to ensure that all public servants, all workers across the country within that pays PAYE, they will no longer pay once they're working for $400,000 and less. That is money being returned to their pockets.
Definitely.
So that the single mother that is now paying 13, 14, 50, 20, $40,000 in PAYE will now have that in addition to $120,000 to take care of our family. That is what a caring government looks like.
Yeah.
And we are prepared to do that for our people. And so we call upon them and we say to them, all you need to do, it's a simple task. Just go for the coalition.
And I want to remind our viewers as well that in 2015, when we took over government, what we discovered is that there was no plan, no policy, no program for that $10,000 grant.
That's right.
You know, they were giving it as a one-off.
As a one-off.
5 votes.
It was never meant to be continued. We saw that in
That's
national.
right. And so we introduced those 5Bs program, which saw an improvement in the results of our
5
students.
plus Bs. It's started out as 5 Bs. That's a 9, 10,
Yeah,
10.
yeah. You know, and as we're talking about what we plan to do for the human resource of our country, there is the YES program, which leader spoke about, directly for you, the young people of our country, putting youth first.
Yeah.
You know, and the YES is Youth Empowerment Scheme.
Right.
And what we're talking about here is that we are helping you invest. We're going to give you investment education. We're going to give you the resources to do the investments. We are going to be giving $50,000 a month to every student at our tertiary institutions, whether you are going to a technical institute or a university. And guess what? When you get your degree, it wouldn't be from IFLOC University.
Correct.
It will be from an accredited university. That's what we talk about. Real value to real people, putting you, the people of Guyana, first.
And Trevon, you know what is also important that you mentioned? Young people. In region number 5, especially in Port Village, I spoke with a number of young men just across, just across the road. And we know that one of the challenges that they face is a lack of house lots and a proper housing program.
Yes.
The coalition, the visionary leader, the government that cares about its human resource and will put its people first. Already we have decided, and this is policy of the next Norton APNU-led government, that we will ensure that we roll out very early in a few months our very early the rent to own scheme.
That's right.
That will
But
benefit.
Ventura, as you talk about that, I just want people to understand that under the last government, this is the APNU AFC government, young people as young as 16 would have applied for a house lot.
That's right.
When the PPP came in, they changed that.
They put back to 21
Yes, they
years.
changed that.
So we are
And now they come in selling 16.
dream realized. That's what they say. Dream realized.
Yeah.
So
Context.
we would not have our young people being told that they have a house lot somewhere at the back of Champagne or Port or in a swamp. We are going to show them house lots. Apart from showing them house lots, we are going to build the houses.
Yes.
Apart from building the houses, we are going to put them in the houses. And the very money that they will have to pay the mortgages and the rent and all of that they pay somewhere, they will pay it to the government through the CHNPA, and they will, when they would have contributed those monies and they would have covered the cost of the house, it becomes theirs.
Yeah.
So somebody that is living at Selma's downstairs, paying a rent of $40,000 a month, will now be paying $40,000 to live in a house that we will build as a government.
Yeah.
They will live in it, and then over a number of years, it is theirs.
Yeah.
It is us moving that person out from being dependent, paying a rent to Selma, becoming independent, having their own home, turning their own key. And you know, young people want to know that once they reach a certain age, like Cheryl is saying 16, 18, they can access these benefits. We don't want to tell young people that you have to wait until 21 years or you will come put your hand in a bag, you will pull up. This is what the PPP has done. They bought about 50,000 house lots. Let me tell you, I worked with the municipal GW under the Ministry of Housing and Water for 11 years. We, under the coalition, when we delivered house lots, we gave house lots and we could have show the people in a few mornings after they received the number, the actual house flat.
The roads run,
Yes.
with a lamppost and so on.
Yep.
Now the kind of big truck you see on the street.
On the screen. I went to Region 3 in Stanleytown. I'm here in Region 5. I went to Region 10. And the same complaint you're getting that I paid for my house lot 3 years ago. I received the documentation, but I ain't certain MP, I ain't certain where the house lot there.
Yeah.
You know, it is by the big field over there.
Yeah.
Or where those trees there is where the house lot is. But I ain't get it yet. That will be a thing of the past. Because we've done it before, Trevor.
Yes.
And we can do it this time and we will do it better. Because we have done it and we are the people with the plan, we have the vision and we have the know-how. And mind you, we are not corrupt.
We have not.
And we're not corrupt. Those policies, those programs, those plans, those projects, they will work.
You know, yesterday I showed a challenge to those who were looking at the pre-launch show. I said, if you would have received a promise of a house lot under this administration, send us the information. From day one, we will look into your house lot, ensure that you actually get to see a house lot, and not from newsroom drone. You're going to get to see it in person. We're going to ensure the infrastructure is there. And as Vintroy was mentioning that we are going to build a house so that you can get into your house and you can live something that belongs to you, that you can pass on to your children, to your grandchildren, to whoever, or unless you plan to live forever. You know, Vintroy, we also heard last night about our plants to agriculture. You know, Perth is an agriculture place, as Sam was talking about. Right now, we look in the drain, we see rice growing in the drain. That's what rice this community has. And we have amazing plans for agriculture, for rice and for others. Leaders spoke about, Mr. Robin Norton, our presidential candidate, spoke about our visit in Essequibo and how, and as soon as we go, he run behind and then he started like the parrot that leader said yes. And I know that Vince Roy, our lead on agriculture, as the next Minister of Agriculture, you want to tell them some of those plans that we have.
Well, I would want to say to Guyanese that when you vote on the 1st of September and you vote for a coalition government, APNU, that you are voting for the best set of people to lead Guyana. And the Robin Norton and his promises to set up a cabinet, and I being the Minister of Agriculture, will ensure that the plans and policies that we have in place will be implemented as we speak them to you. We have for the farmers rice, cash crop, and Gaisuko in particular, a plan that I believe is the best plan to take them out of the issue of the high cost of production that will eventually bring our food price down. Fertilizer, as we know, is widely used. We intend to have free fertilizer coming from the byproduct, as a byproduct of oil and gas. We intend to produce, let me back up. We have already studied it because the PPP likes to say that we are a government or we are people that we always studying. We like studying. Let them know we were studying over the 5 years and we are now prepared to put what we would have studied into action. And so we will take fertilizer out of the cost of our rice farmers and that of the production costs in Gaisuko and our cash crop farmers by making it free for all farmers. Of course, it will be structured. So, like, for example, here in Port Maiconi, we have farmers who are rice farmers having planted 10, 15, 20 acres. Our farmers will be identified. They will have a farming card, an ID that says that I'm a farmer, I live X place, I farm X amount of acres, and, details about it. That when you come to the Ministry of Agriculture, you or the Department of Agriculture in Region Number 5, you wouldn't have to beg or ask. It is entitled to you based on the amount of bags of fertilizer that is needed for your crop it will be given to you at the right time, on time, so that you can be able to do what you have to do in the fields. Apart from that, we have already identified as part of our policies that we will have extension officers decentralized across every single region to educate, to meet the needs of our farmers, and to also guide them. Every neighborhood democratic council will have their own extension officer. For example, here in Hamlet Chance, we will have somebody certified and qualified in animal science, plant science. And so it will be that you don't have to leave Perth to go to Unvoa to say that, oh, I will think the party blast about them. You can meet with the officer that is right here in your community. You don't have to go to Unvoa to say, oh, man, I think this cow got a problem with you know, we will meet you at your farm.
Yeah, put in the people first.
Put in the people first. Apart from that, this talk about Gaisuko that I heard Finally suddenly jumped to say that he will revive and that he loves.
Yeah.
And that they so care about.
But revive doing what?
I'm coming to that. And that they are the champions of sugar. Let me tell you something. There has been no better plan for sugar than under the coalition government. I justify what I'm saying. Under the coalition government, and I have a difficulty focusing on Sharon and the camera at the same time. But under the coalition government, we saw in 2015 Gaisuko producing over 100,000 tons of sugar. And over the 5 years, we met every single target as was planned, barring rain and other issues that are in line with GAU, sabotaging
Saboteurs.
the industry at that time. Because when the coalition was in power, oh my, the union called a strike every single month if they can, twice, three times a month. But the point I'm trying to make, under the People's Progressive Party Civic, they have not achieved one target set for that. Guys might want to ask me why they said 50,000 tons of sugar and they made 52. But the issue here is that every single target the PPP has set, they either revise it twice or thrice per year in the same production year. So let us take, for example, they started at the beginning of the year at 50,000 metric tons of sugar. By the end of the second crop, the target is now 30,000 tons. So as Sulfi and those boys recognize the level of failure, they reduce it to cushion. They reduce it to meet it. But I am saying, if we could have done it then with little or no resources, we are not closing down sugar estates as they're going to tell the sugar workers and sending home everybody. They said to them that we're going to close down all the estates and we're going to sell everybody. No. As we would have said before, that we will diversify Gaisuko. We will ensure that Gaisuko not only rely on sugar, but that it's like our housing project. We will ensure that we train and upskill our workers so that the very workers at Gaisuko. Look, I come from the Gaisuko Training Center. When you go there, you have to know plumbing. You have to know electrical. You have to know auto mechanics. You have to know welding. And the likes you go on. Why can't we now say that you have to know carpentry, masonry, and joinery? It will better our human resource, and also it will help us to as part of Gaisuko. So what if we put a little name to it? Guyana Sugar Corporation and Construction Industry. It is something that we haven't planned. We can help to train our young men and women, have them build houses for our citizens, and then move the company forward.
And Ventura, that is a very plan that Gaisuko saw the coalition in the last administration had in place that they criticized and now pursuing. And now President Ali will tell you from all of the revised production of sugar, because sugar does not command the national market the way it used to, they're now saying they can do hemp. They're not making sugar great again. They want to do hemp now with sugar lands because sugar is not reducing. They want to do cassava. No, they said they want to do soya with Gaisuko lands. And this is what we've been saying all along. They have been lying to sugar workers all along. are now waking up to the reality that we can no longer put $50-60 billion into sugar. This money is better spent other places. We need to diversify while also keeping the collation plants is the last administration. That's why I want to make.
We have long, and you correct Sharon, we have long said that Gaisuku cannot remain on sugar. The PPP has not produced 1 ton of sugar at profitability for the last 5 years.
That's true. Since Skeldon.
Yeah.
But
Right, elephant.
I don't like talking about that failure of scale. Every time I talk about Skeldon, I have to remember Barajapti. Because it is that failure of a man. It is that incompetent Barajapti as a president. Barajapti has, and now I'm getting political, he has no successful project to his name. I was a young apprentice when we first turned that Skeldon sugar factory on.
Yeah.
And that failure from that day in 2007, I think it was
2006, 2007.
I guess I was apprentice guy from 2006.
You're a young man then. Yeah.
A young man, just out of high school. I witnessed one of the worst failures in Guyana's history. That Skeldon factory. It was a boom, a loud noise. And today, the sugar has not been produced.
Folks, as we wrap up, what Guyanese ought to know, take away from this, that at that point, the Skeldon modernization project was the largest single project in our nation's history, demanding that amount of revenue. And every international agency told Jagdeo
Not to.
that do not invest this money in Gaisuku. But he think he had, big and he got things inside, but it's big and empty. And we're heading that same way with the gas to shore project. Already some major problems with the gas to shore project. It is about 2-point-something billion US dollars for that gas to shore project that is currently stalled. The Wales gas to shore project. We're now paying the contractor about $50,000 a month for being behind in the project. So that is
Well, 2 years
another failure. By now, they told us that we were supposed to be getting electricity at half price.
Yeah.
Electricity is still the same price, and the gas to shore project is already failing. We don't want more of those failures. We want a people-centered government. We want a government that puts the power sector first, that puts agriculture first, that puts education first, that puts our youth, our young people first, that puts security first, and we could run through all of these sectors. This government have had billions of dollars, trillions of dollars of oil money that no other government has had, and they've squandered it. And it's time we turn the page.
I'm happy that you said that. And so I'll wrap up. Because, when we start to talk about these things, Sharon, we can spend an entire day and
I know the public wants to speak to.
and we won't finish. But just I want to touch on 2 things that I heard Irfan spoke about quite recently. The shortage of eggs on the market and ducks. That incompetent, corrupt young man called Irfan, he knows fully well why we have the shortages of both ducks and the eggs. When I spoke about the sabotage, they call it, at GLD with regards to the eggs, and how many eggs were destroyed, and they said it's a lie, a coalition lie. It happened twice. We said to them that it was over 30,000 eggs that were damaged, and they said to us, no, probe in a commission will be launched. We saw at the Guyana Marketing Corporation, the corruption there. We saw at MMA, the corruption is smuggled chicken. We saw when they brought 3 trucks of chicken, the numbers, the seals on the package, everything, and it was alleged that the certain minister was bringing this up. We saw the location, it was stopped, the police officer in command who stopped the truck. We knew who gave instructions that the truck must go, and now they come to tell us about wanting to do better for Guyanese. You had 5 years to do it. You failed us. You corrupt. You're incompetent, and you must go. We'll continue with other issues.
They must go. They must go. As we are wrapping up, one of the important things to note about in terms of education, we missed this earlier. Can you imagine people of Region 5? And I know we're all over people in Guyana, but Region 5, can you imagine that their schools are not properly equipped to teach your children? Recently, and I heard the Minister of Education talk about the CCSLC program that was introduced. You know, those things that were thrown on the teachers. No resources were provided. No textbooks were provided. As teachers, we went into our pockets to the United Kingdom to purchase resources to teach the
Priya,
students.
name call.
Priya gave us nothing,
Priya,
and she
name
had the audacity. I love how leader would use this word. She has the audacity to stand up in the Kachong Convention Center and tell this nation that the performance is due to her investment. Priya, you lie. You're a big liar, just like Barajak. You. And guess what? Your people gonna vote you out, and you will never go back into government.
Alright.
That's my right for you.
Javon, I want to keep some of that energy. We got a lot of streets.
Here we go.
In Troy, Selma, Trevon, fantastic audience here. That's going to do it for us here at Perth. Mike Cronin, that's our time. That's our program. We're going to see you guys on the next one from the campaign train.
Yes, my name is Jacinti Caldata Francis Vietnam, and since 1965 I become a voter, and I always place my X next to the cup, and what they are doing today, I can't take it. So I have no more vote to give to PPP anymore. I'm not going to vote anymore no more. If they have to lose by one vote, they're losing it by data. I have none.
And you're telling people progress. Cost of living gone up 100%, yet you give public servant less. Mr. President, listen to the people. Search your soul and you will confess. I want you try surviving on the public base, then you're gonna know but stress. Cause I done fed up, you done fed up, he done fed up, she done fed up, we done fed up, the people fed up. You're hiding corruption inside the cup, look how evil set up. The people fed up. They don't drive no fair with the citizen. They may want the people speak out. Freedom of speech done gone inside the gutter. Knock off when you open your mouth. Discrimination in entertainment, and you're talking about one Guyana. When the Ministry of Culture keep the big shows, one set of girls and banner. Cause I done fed up, you done fed up, he done fed up, she done fed up, we done fed up, the people fed up. You're hiding corruption inside the cup, look how evil set up. The people fed up. Every picture you take and promise you make, everything you do is about clout. Then you come into me for I shake your hand, there's nothing to smile about. Corruption inside every sector, but when it comes to them they send you. Try investigate efficiency, right? Go talk to Baratans too. Cause I done fed up, you done fed up, he done fed up, she done fed up, we done fed up, the people fed up. You're hiding corruption inside the cup, look how evil set up. The people fed up. I done fed up on the dirty water, low pressure, want scream and tell somebody. Imagine 1500 US, and they're telling me super salary. I done fed up on the unemployment racism and the lie they say one Guyana. Cause when you look where the oil money going, circulate with one set of banner. Cause I done fed up, you done fed up, he done fed up, she done fed up, we done fed up.